So good morning, good morning. I'm trying something new today. So you'll have to tell me if you can see me okay, if you can hear me okay. So I normally use StreamYard just when I use slides, and that allows me to flip between screens. But I like the fact that it auto-generates the subtitles. So I thought I'm going to try this time, but it means, of course, that I'm not in the actual event itself. So I will chat away while you guys are able to find me. If you do, give me a like, give me a wave, say hello, tell me who you are, where you are. Make sure you've told StreamYard, though, who you are, because sadly, it just comes up as Facebook user if you haven't given StreamYard permission. So I really hope that you can find me, and then I need to know what this sort of looks like, because I've never used it on my tablet before. So hopefully you are doing okay. It is Thursday again. It's very much December, isn't it? How's the to-do list going? I know this time of the year we can all end up just here, there, and everywhere. Yes, we have someone fabulous. You found me. Who are you? Tell me in the comments. This time of the year, isn't it just, yay, Deborah, well done. So what does StreamYard look like to you on the iPad? Does it look okay? I don't think it auto-generates the subtitles when I'm live. I think it's just when it's replay. Zosha, good morning. It's working. Fabulous. To me, looking at this screen, it looks like it's better than when I use StreamYard on the laptop, but that's probably the camera. I'll rewatch it and find out. I'll have a look. So the to-do lists tend to be quite long at this time of the year, don't they? Image is more blurred. Oh, interesting, because it doesn't look like that to me at all. Oh, that's poor, isn't it? I'm sure you can still see me. Sometimes it takes a while to settle at first. So let's hope that the broadband is going to play. It's going to be good. And Zosha, I can see you're tagging your friend. She did get the invite, but obviously it takes a little minute for people to get the notifications that I've gone live as well. So a couple of things to tell you before we kick off for this week. Tanya, good morning. I did a mini masterclass last night, which I've done before, although they always end up coming out slightly differently every time I do them. So last night's was the mini STAR masterclass. So that was one of the strategies, tools, actions and results, which lots of you know that I did a challenge on. I did a whole week of this topic. I don't even know when it was, at some point this year. So this was one particular of my favourites from each of those topics, which is what my clients work through. And I went through all of that whistle stop tour in an hour last night. The replay is going to be scheduled to hit tonight, but of course you can find it and you can watch it as and when you want to in the group at any time. So I did that last night. I've got a spotlight session coming up next week. That is in the diary. But of course, the big event next week is the Business Accelerator live workshop, which I'm so looking forward to. We've got such a fab group of ladies already registered, and we still have a couple more spaces. I'm going to tell you a little bit more that as we go through it, but basically it's a 2-day event where we're going to be together for 2 hours per day. We're going to use the structure of a course that already exists. It's got its own training area. There's heaps of video content, heaps of support material like templates, worksheets, but we're actually going to go through that as a group together. So I'm going to kind of not teach it because I'm not a teacher, but I'm going to facilitate a discussion around those topics so we can all make sure we get absolutely down to the granular detail for our businesses on those topics. So that's going to happen Tuesday and Wednesday next week. It is a paid event, so I'm not doing it live in the group. It's going to be Zoom. We're all going to be there together, knowing that there's actually other people there with us, so that we can do some group learning. So that is a paid event. If you want to join into that, just drop me a message, drop me a comment, say yes please. I'll get in touch and we'll arrange to get your place reserved on there. Okay. Let's talk about starting a business then. So I'm not sure how many people would actually sit in December and go, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start something right now that is going to take me through the rest of my working career. However, some people do, because they get that bug of creating something or beginning something new as we sort of start to look into the new year. So it felt like a good time to sort of revisit what some of those thoughts are in the early days. Because when we first have that, I'm going to start a business, we go through all sorts. I'm going to knock my tea while I flap my hands around. Let's move it. We go through all sorts. We go through all sorts of emotions. We go through the fear. We go through the should I, shouldn't I, the doubt, the well, am I good enough? Well, what will people think? Well, how am I going to be able to this? And then you get passionate, you get the enthusiasm, and you start rolling with it, and you go with it, and you kind of start that snowball effect. And I've always said that the early days of starting a business is a bit like those sort of exciting flushes of the first part of a romance, where it's just amazing and nothing can go wrong and it just feels fabulous. You just want to spend all your time doing your thing, and it very quickly becomes all consuming. But then of course it tapers off, and that becomes more normal. And that, when you get to that point in your business, that's when things start to, I guess, bite a little bit. We start to need to look at other ways of doing things. Maybe stuff that you thought was true ends up not being true, and you uncover some fears, some doubts, some concerns. So what I want to do today is talk about a couple of myths that are out there around starting businesses and beginning something new. And then I want to bust those myths out and give you some actionable steps that you can take to actually move yourself forward away from those myths. Is that okay? It's lovely to have you ladies, by the way. What have you got? Have you got tea? I've got tea. Colour coordinated look. So on brand. Even my fingernails, which are slightly Christmassy. They've got a little, can you see? They've got a little bit of glitter. Christmassy fingers. Okay, right, so the 3 myths we're going to talk through. I'll tell you them first and then we'll cover each one off. So the first one is, it takes a year before any business will make any money. Who's heard that one? It's like, as soon as you mention to somebody, I'm going to start a business, somebody somewhere will say, oh, well, it takes a year before your business will make any money. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, well, you're going to have to retrain. You're going to have to do this, this, and this. That's the second myth. And then the third one, well, most new businesses fail. Like, that's really encouraging. But again, you'll find somebody in your life eventually that will, not maybe in quite as harsh a word as that, but they will share the benefit of their opinion with you and tell you that you will fail, which is really motivating, isn't it? Okay, so let's take them one at a time. It takes a year. So whoever decided it takes a year, I'm not sure, but like, why would that need to be true? Why should it take a year? And what's the difference between it taking a year and it taking 6 months? And if it can take 6 months, then maybe it can take 3 months. And I think some of these myths are really interesting because they self-fulfill, don't they? That if you go into your new project, your new business, your new love of your life, your new passion, and you say to yourself, well, it's going to take me a year. Guess what you're going to do for the first 10 months? You're going to sit doing just stuff. And I talked about this last night, and I know it resonates with lots of people, that actually when you've got all the time in the world, when you've got a certain length of time to do something, lo and behold, it probably takes that long to do. And I love things like, you might have had all day or all week to tidy your house, but you can still get it done when your friend rings you and says they're popping around in 10 minutes. Suddenly you whiz through your entire house and it's like tidy. Everything that we do, we can define the length of time it takes to achieve it. Everything. Now, it might mean that we have to practice and we have to tweak things and we have to get better or more efficient and squeeze that time down. But everything we do, we can decide how long it's going to take us to do. So if we go into a new project or something, some task, some activity, and we're going to say, right, this is going to take 3 weeks to complete, it will pretty much take you 3 weeks to complete. So why not set that time frame as much, much smaller, and then find ways to make that happen? And that's the difference. So, when we talk about running, there was that person that said, and I never remember the numbers, but they wanted to break the record for running that, was it a mile? The Chariots of Fire film. And, nobody had done it before. Nobody had been able to get past that particular barrier, and yet now people smash it and come like 4th, 5th and 6th in a race. So it's all about making sure that those barriers are tight for us, and that we can move them. But we can't just do it by doing the same thing over and over again. So carrying on the running analogy, I've just got back into running, and I know that if I just go out and run the same distance time and time and time again, I'll just plateau. And I know that because I've done it before. And then I get really cross and I get really frustrated and I can't improve it. And lo and behold, that is the same. And yet I still try and do it. I still go out and do the same thing. Roger Bannister. And how long was it? It was a something mile. It was a something. So was it? I can't remember. I'm no good with miles. I do everything in kilometers in mine. So I know that actually if I do the same thing over and over again, it's not going to improve things. And I know that in my business as well. So it's really about being smart, being clever with yourself, and not saying it's going to take me a year. Have a point at which it's going to take you a certain length of time, but then decide on how you're going to get there. So for me, carrying on the running analogy, I know that I need to do other training. I need help. It's fine. Well, I'll Google it later. I need to do other training as well. I need to do other things to strengthen my body to be able to then change the times. I need to shake it up. So I need to do a longer run slower, and I need to do a shorter run faster. It's exactly the same with your business. So you need help on certain things. You don't need to just keep banging your head against a brick wall, getting frustrated and not moving yourself forward. You might need to take a particular thing that you want to do in your business and get some help on that. You might want to just kind of carve out a particular part and say, do you know what, I'm shelving that for a while. So whatever it is, you decide how long that thing is going to take you. So do not go into next year saying, well, I'm still in my first year, I'm still in my first 6 months, I'm still in my first whatever, it's going to take me a year to make some money. No, decide when it is you're going to make that money, and then lo and behold, you will find the way to do it. It's about making that really, really decisive step towards what it is you want. So that was myth number 1. Busted. Hate that one. It takes a year. It'll take as long as you decide it'll take. You've got to retrain. Okay, this is an interesting one because, and again, this is fresh in my mind talking about the law of compensation. And one of the elements within the law of compensation is that you are compensated in accordance to how easily you are replaced. And the how easy you are replaced obviously has an element of how good are you at your thing. However, I also really deeply believe that you cannot ever be replaced, because there's only you that does your thing in the way that you do it. So from a retraining perspective, do we fundamentally need to go out and go, okay, so these are all the skills and the tools that I've got in my experience. This is why I am who I am. This is all the stuff that I've got in my backpack. Do we really all need to go out and look at a whole new set of experiences and knowledge? And I just don't think we do. And I get saddened by the people that want to spend, so they decide they want to set up their business, but then they want to spend that best part of probably their first year going out and getting all these additional skills. But actually you can be doing that on the job, and there's a huge amount that you've already got, and that will take you through those first few months, weeks of learning your craft, deciding on how you're going to take your message to the world, and actually starting to attract some clients. I'm not sure that many people will literally just go, okay, I am going to now, so if I had left my corporate roles in account management, sales, relationship, and gone, right, I'm going to start my own business, I'm going to teach people to speak Arabic. I chose that because I cannot speak a word of Arabic. I would have to learn all that stuff first, and it doesn't relate anyway to in any sense to what I've already done with my life. So it's surprising if people do that, but there is certainly elements where you want to deepen your understanding, you want to evolve your knowledge, you want to be able to make sure that your knowledge is at that uppermost level, so you can share it in a way that really does add value to those that you want to serve. So the total retrain thing, I don't agree with that, and I don't believe that you need to sit and do the retraining and then start your business. I think you can do it as you go, because actually you're honing all sorts about you, all sorts about how you want to take your message to the world as you actually develop yourself. And it shouldn't end. You shouldn't get to the point of going, right, okay, so I've got my business now, I've got some clients, it's a good, successful business, I'm just going to stop. You should constantly be learning. I don't call it retraining, but you should constantly be learning and evolving yourself and your skills, because that's how we stay on our toes, isn't it? That's what excites us and how we stay stimulated, excited, and one step ahead of the clients we're going to serve. So no, totally retraining, no, that is totally a myth. And then the final one is most fail. Like, oh, so sad when I hear people say, oh yeah, my whoever said, or, you know, I was chatting to so-and-so and they said, oh, you know, good luck, because most new businesses fail. Again, it's their impression. And actually, people give their opinions on things in a often it's from the heart, because they're trying to make sure that you're safe, you're protected, you're not taking risks, you're not going to end up in a difficult situation, maybe, if you're putting all your hopes into this business. But actually, saying most fail, it's just like raining on your parade, isn't it? And do we know that, like, factually? And why do they fail? That's the thing we never know. So some fail because the need goes away. Some fail because, in most cases, there weren't the fundamental blocks in place that meant that it could succeed. The majority of businesses that succeed is because of that person having the passion, having the drive, having the absolute determination and total belief that they can achieve what they want to achieve. And when they totally do, when you believe nothing can sway you from your path, then you will find a way. Like, there are stories over years and years of human beings finding a way. So you're not telling me that businesses fail because they didn't find the right customers. They fail because the heart wasn't in it, because the drive wasn't there, the passion wasn't there. It got tough, and then, you know, the decision was made to just go no. Now, clearly there are big businesses that end up failing, but that happens for different economic reasons. But on a small business basis, which is a personality business, as in it's you that's behind your business, it is up to you. It is totally within your control to decide whether or not your business will be another one of those statistics, or whether it's going to be the business of your dreams. You're going to absolutely love it, be able to build the life that you want to live, and really be that successful business owner for whatever definition that looks like for you. It could be that it's freedom, that it's enough to kind of pay your way, to put into the household income. It could be that you want to earn tens and tens and have 3 houses in 4 different continents. You know, whatever is success for you, it is up to you to decide whether or not your business will fail, and getting that help along the way, of course. So those are our 3 myths. I need tea. So, the truths in comparison to the myths. I believe these are the fundamental foundation blocks. So if we think about our business ultimately as being a building, these are the things that need to be at the very base of our business before we start ploughing on with creating courses, with developing logos, with getting ourselves wrapped up in the kind of minute detail of our business. These are the things that need to be there first. You need to know, number 1, who you want to serve. Because if you don't know who you want to serve, or you're still in that place where you're saying, oh, I could serve them, and I could serve them, and I can help them, and I can help them, you're spreading yourself really thin, and your messaging and your connections won't be deep enough to actually move people to action. And it's the difference between making someone feel unique, making someone feel special, and making someone feel understood, in comparison to the feeling of, well, that could apply to me, but it could also apply to them, and it could apply to them, and therefore it's a bit sort of mediocre. Deciding and defining who you want to serve on a really detailed level allows you to get in their head, to get in their emotions, to get into what motivates them, and to understand why they're going to want to buy from you. As soon as you do that, your messaging becomes much more connected, much more deep rooted in terms of what's going to motivate somebody to buy. And this is true, by the way, of any product whatsoever. Product, service, whatever it is you're selling, you still need to know very, very clearly who it is you want to serve. So that is your first fundamental foundation. Your second one, and this stuff is your really early days, but do you know what? It's good to revisit it. I've done an exercise recently to relook at my ideal client, and I only did it in August, and more stuff's come out this time than it did when I did it in August. And it's one of those that evolves as you learn, as you hone what it is you want to offer, how you want to show up in your business, who you want to serve will change, and that's fine. It's a good thing to revisit it. So that's your first one, your ideal client. Who do you want to serve? Your second one then, which is very much linked to this, is how do you want to reach them? So what feels good for you? If there was one single blueprint of this is the way you need to attract your clients, then don't you think everybody would be doing it? The fact is there isn't. So despite all the adverts on Facebook and on social media saying, you know, buy this blueprint, this is the way to attract all your ideal clients, there is no one way. It's about finding a way that works for you, because if that blueprint said you have to turn up live on your chosen social media channel every single day at 10 a.m. and that made your blood run cold, then that's not going to work for you. If it was something which you just could not force yourself to do, then it's not going to work for you. And if you did force yourself to do it, it's going to look really obvious that you are forcing yourself to do it, and everyone's going to see through it. So for me, it's about finding a way that not only does connect with those ideal clients, but also will totally work for you and feels right. Because if you get into that place of, I've got to do this and I should be doing this and I need to be doing this, it shows, and it doesn't show you authentically as being the person that can provide the service, sell the product, do the thing for that person. So attracting your clients and having a way of being able to attract them on a consistent basis, finding a system that works for you that will attract your clients. That's key. You've got to develop that system and decide how that's going to work for you. That's your second. Your third, you need a goal, love planning. I like it. This time of year for me is exciting, and getting into January, I'm already penning what I'm going to do with you in terms of a kind of a bigger event. And yes, so exciting. And it should feel like that with your business. You should be setting yourself goals. You should have those intentions out there. They might be big, they might be scary, they might be, I don't know, I haven't got a clue how I'm going to achieve them. Even better, because then they fire you up to become something that you need to become to achieve your goals. So you should absolutely be planning. And last night I talked about the single strategy you should all have in place for your business. And going into next year, never more important is to have a financial strategy. Get to grips with your numbers. What are your ins? What are your potential ins? What are your outs, your costs? What's your potential profit for the month? And how can you improve that? How can you scale that? How can you get that to a point where it is what you need to earn and what you ultimately want to earn? So that's your third. The next one is around self-sabotage, because as we do this work, we develop ourselves, we develop our business, we end up at some point for sure talking ourselves out of it in whatever new thing we're going to do. It might be that you're looking to learn a new skill. It might be that you're looking to resurrect a previous skill, and actually the self-sabotage turns up and goes, what do you want to do that for? Just stick with what you know, just stick with what you can already do. Or why don't you do that instead of doing that? Or this seems like loads more fun. Why don't you go over there and do that? Or the procrastination. And all of these things show up at some point. And it's about being able to recognize them and go, oh, look, I'm being pushed off course. Actually, this is not right for me. This needs to be where I want to go. So the self-sabotage and getting over that is a really, really good skill to develop, because you're going to need it at some point further down the line if you don't need it straight away. And then the final one, absolutely key to your toolkit, is sales. Because if you can't sell, if you can't offer what it is you want to do, you won't be able to serve anybody. And if you can't serve anybody, you won't be able to be paid for what you do. You won't be able to actually make your business make a profit. And unless you can do that, it's a really fun hobby to have. So Finding a way, again, similar to the client attraction. There's lots of theories around sales, like hundreds. People have been studying the psychology of sales for years and years and years, because it is, in terms of an exchange of things, it's as old as the earth, isn't it? But it's about being able to find something, again, that's you, that's genuine, that's heartfelt, that doesn't feel just weird and icky and leave a bit of a feeling for you, but finding that way that you can sell in an aligned way as quickly as you can in your business, so you're not missing these opportunities where you might have done all the other work, you've brought somebody towards you, and then at the final moment when you're to actually close the deal, you lose them because you've not put the fundamentals in place and you haven't got that skill set. And if you're selling something which is your knowledge and you've never done anything around sales before, then who's to say that you should know how to do it? There is no rule that says starting your own business you should suddenly be able to know how to market, how to do your finances, how to do the customer service bit, and how to sell. There is no rule that says that. So not knowing something is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to find out more, to expand yourself, and to actually acquire those skills that you need. So those are your fundamentals. Now, funnily enough, this is a very obvious link. Those are the areas that I chose to put into the Business Accelerator course. So this course exists on its own, and it's existed for ages. There's a lot of people, we've had some feedback already into the group around those that have done the course as a standalone course. It covers these basics. It covers your early days actions. It gives you the templates to be able to draw out your ideas, to be able to formulate those plans, to actually define who it is you want to serve and how you want to serve them. So the beauty of this workshop that I'm doing next week is that you can bring all of those ideas and we can talk about it as a group. So if something doesn't work for you, something just isn't going in, you've got that opportunity to really get deep with your knowledge, to really connect to that. But how does this work for me? And how can I apply that for me? And if you've got stuff showing up that are maybe old stories about things, then again, we can explore that. So for that £99 or $130, you get that course and you get to keep the course content forever. It's access into a training vault area. So there's video training and all the support material. You get that and you keep that forever. But the beauty of the workshop is that we're live in a Zoom environment, so we can all see and hear one another, and we can talk these concepts through. So from a support perspective, it's huge. You get 4 hours worth of continuous content, and you get to build a community with some amazing women who are at lots of different stages of their businesses. Some of them are revisiting these exercises second time round. Some of them are brand new and this will be the first time they're doing them. So it's an opportunity to network and an opportunity to learn from one another. So as I said at the beginning, if you want to take this further, if you are ready to really get your plans, get your head in that space, ready to hit next year really strong, then please drop a note, drop a comment, drop me a direct message. We'll get you registered, and I would love to welcome you onto that next Tuesday. That's me for today. The only other thing I have to tell you is next week I have a spotlight session, so that is live in here. I'm going to be interviewing an absolutely lovely lady whose journey is just amazing, and I can't wait for her to share that. It's so inspirational as to what she's been through and now what she's doing and how she's forward and going to share her story with the world. So look out for that spotlight session next week. I will be back, of course, this time for my weekly wisdom. It's my youngest's birthday on Saturday, so I'll probably be doing lots of work over the weekend, but go and have an amazing weekend. Make the most of your days as much as you can, and I will see you really, really soon. Thanks for being with me. Bye.